Hello, everyone. This is Sharon with Entelechy Visions, and this is an energy update for the week of February 24th through March 1st. So, we have been going through an emotional, watery journey so far with this Mercury retrograde season this past week. And we may have already been feeling it in the pre-shadow phase leading up to the retrograde season. So we've been feeling it for the bulk of February. And what this is really doing is it's allowing us an inner deep dive. And it's in the sign of Pisces, which is a water sign. And that's all about the emotions. So you may have been feeling like you are riding a little bit of a stormy sea of your own emotions lately, with some foggy confusion kind of added to the mix of that. This is allowing us to really unearth all of that wounded healer themes that I've been referencing, that they've been arising with this retrograde. Anything that may be coming up to really allow us to clear what might be standing in the way of sharing more of ourselves, as this is the theme of this leveling up of our lives. So we might be finding that some victim mindsets are arising, or maybe some self-pity. And I know these aren't fun things to move through, but they're necessary to see where we might be holding aspects of ourselves that are very limiting. And these questions are arising at this time to really invite us to ask, are we spending a lot of time healing others? That we are neglecting ourselves, neglecting to help ourselves. And this can also be a theme right now, because if we're doing, or burning the candle at both ends, we can often put ourselves last. And this doesn't necessarily have to be in the form of service out in the world. It can be in the form of parenting, of family, or in partnerships, or helping your parents as they're aging, all kinds of things that are forms of that, where we might be putting ourselves last. So this is a good period to really take care of yourself, to see all of that in perspective, and to gain some clarity around how you can help yourself better, how you can really put yourself first amidst all of that and all that you do in the world. So I know the retrograde season is not always a fun thing. It kind of gets a lot of slack when it comes around, but it's serving a great purpose to really allow us to look at these parts of ourselves that might be standing in the way of us sharing more of our next level. So we are officially in Pisces season now, and Pisces season is the last sign of the zodiac, which means that we are wrapping up an entire year worth of lessons, that we've gone through all of the signs and all the lessons of each sign, and Pisces is the very last one before the new zodiac year begins next month with Aries. So whenever we reach a point where we are at that last sign, kind of the 11th hour before the new dawn, it can really wrap up a culmination of all that's been learned throughout that entire journey, throughout that entire year's worth of lessons. So things might be a little bit stronger this month through this retrograde journey, because it's accentuating all of the lessons, since it's falling on this last sign before that calendar phase of the zodiac begins again. So if things feel a little extra potent moving through this retrograde season, know that this is also adding that element to it. But Pisces is also a very dreamy sign. So it's inviting us to really look at our bigger visions, our creativity. It's inspiring us, because when we deep dive and we go into that watery emotional element, that is also the pool where we access our creative selves. So it's a good period to really also get inspired, to feel creative, and to imagine your biggest dream. And maybe even to take the ceiling of your dream and move it up many notches. If you have kind of capped yourself off from dreaming really big, and maybe only imagining that a certain level was possible, now's the time to really take that ceiling off, to take that cap off, and to let yourself dream as big as you can possibly dream. Because anything is possible. And as cheesy as that sounds, it is so true. And the more you let yourself move into that realm of your greatest expansion, the more you rise up to meet that of what is actually possible for your life. So even though we may be tapping into this emotional realm through this retrograde season and swimming through things that we need to address and look at these details of our lives, it's also a good period to cultivate your greatest dream, your greatest vision, and also to envision the next inspired action steps to take. So even if they are small steps in that right direction, we can envision taking that next step and allowing the clarity to really unfold as that path becomes lit before us. So with this period, we are wrapping up so much right now. And we're preparing for the Aries season to begin next month, which is right around the corner and at the tail end of this week. So we're completing February. And February might have felt like it really flew by. And we're now entering March, which I always find March is very typical to its name, that it brings a lot of forward-moving, kind of blooming expansion in that marching kind of energy. So we are wrapping all of that up to head into that marching season and also the beginning of spring, which we have spring equinox, the vernal equinox next month. So if you're feeling kind of floaty, kind of unsure, or you're hovering in this space of in between and not really sure what end is up, or if it feels like you are kind of in a downward spiral right now, know that this is part of this wrapping up period. And the Pisces season may not always be the easiest one because it's allowing us to reflect on the entire year's journey. And also it is amplifying anything that we might have gone through and capping that off with the retrograde paired with it, it's amplifying it even more. So it's kind of like we have to move through this point in order to allow us to shed those last bits to get ready to bloom, to work on some remaining issues to let ourselves expand into this next phase. So let yourself be patient with this retrograde and really use it to your benefit, that you can do some inward deep diving, you can do some introspection, and those are really great themes and really great things to do during this period because it is inviting anything that starts with that prefix RE. So reflecting, reviewing, reassessing. And it's also a good time to declutter, to get rid of things in our lives, whether that's physically or habits or letting go of some emotional baggage. Maybe there's some emoting that needs to happen, some kind of release. Because Pisces season is all about the emotions. So if there's anything kind of pent up, you may find that they are rising to the surface now. Because anything that has been suppressed is now kind of flooding up and allowing you to see the areas that you might have pushed down that are kind of blocking or stopping you from feeling that fullness. So dive deep into this and let yourself move through anything that might be coming up without judgment and just letting it emerge to be seen and also to be cleansed as well. So there's a higher vision that's really unfolding for our lives. And we are moving through this time to clear the space for this higher vision. So let this time be a space of learning so that you can step forward into your higher goal, into the highest version of yourself, which is emerging as the spring is emerging as well. And you can think of it also as the germinating that's happening beneath the surface with the plants right now. There's a lot of germination, there's a lot of stirring beneath the surface, the work that's taking place under the ground before the spring happens. So let yourself do the work, let yourself do the stirring and the germinating so that you can bloom, and when you do, it's in your purest and clearest form. So we have a lot to look forward to in this coming month, and it's capping off with a new moon this Sunday on February 23rd. And this is further amplifying that creativity, that kind of fantasizing energy, and the inspiration that is needed to create this grandiose vision or our ideal creations for our life. So new beginnings are emerging, and you may even see an inkling of this path that is unfolding for you. So allow yourself to be called to it, and also use the energy of this new moon, which new moons are always about that new beginning, to really let yourself move to that bigger plan, to imagine the world's view of what is possible for your life. So I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. If you need any additional support, I offer remote sessions or in-person sessions. You can learn more at entelechivisions.com. I invite you to also like and subscribe to help to support this channel. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening.